Happy new moon in Virgo, you guys. Whee! We are rounding out the culmination of the last 40 days of Teshuvah. This has been deeply reflective no matter what school of mysticism or philosophy you follow. Astrologically, we've had planets in retrograde. Venus has been in retrograde for the last 40 days, and it has finally gone direct recently. We're out of the shadow of that, just in time for Mercury to have gone retrograde, putting us back into new layers of self-reflection and deep diving. And then Jupiter has gone retrograde too. So it's like we've been considering all these different aspects about what we love, how we love it, or why we love it. How are we focusing our intention and our resources in order to expand our fortune? What are we investing into our lives that can bring return? Are our relationships balanced in what we're investing in and what is returning to us? And are we showing up, first of all, with a seed level of consciousness of sharing rather than taking? Because really the ultimate goal is always to make ourselves a greater vessel of receiving the light for the sake of sharing the light. So we're trying to become a greater vessel of sharing, a better channel for the light to come through. And all of that wholeness is inside of us. We're simply breaking the shells of negativity that have built up around us over a lifetime of wounds, trauma, self-limiting beliefs, subconscious programming. There's so many layers that just create this resin of negative energy around us that we want to break through, right? And it's not to say we're never going to have negative emotions or emotions that we perceive as negative, but it's what we do with that, how we observe that, how we interpret that, and then how we go forward from there. We've been learning how to pause and observe what's playing out and go in deeper and ask why. What is this really here to show me? Rather than bypass, it's like we're looking deeper. There's discernment involved as well. It's like the Kabbalah Center teaches us that whatever is playing out, whether it be a test or an opportunity, the creator is there in some way. So it's like if you're looking at any given situation, the secret is to pause and try to find what the creator is trying to tell you in that situation. It doesn't necessarily justify the actions of the other people involved, or it's not saying that you deserve blah, 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 or this or that. It's just when you are going through what I like to think of as life, once you become a spiritual seeker, it's like it suddenly turns on the game and you're in. And it turns on the simulation that other people that aren't actively involved in wanting to spiritually transform, they're not necessarily that engaged with. Their rules aren't as harsh. They're not as challenged all the time. Or maybe they are, but they're not aware of it yet. So it's not doing the work on them. But once you're an active seeker, it's like you can just assume that, like in the game Mario, I like to think of it like being Mario in the game of Mario. It's very simple. It's like when we're running through each level, we can just anticipate that there's going to be challenges. The little mushroom men, the little Venus flytraps, the booby traps that you fall through. It's like these are always going to be there, so we don't have to take them personally. We observe to learn from the situation, okay, how can we grow from this? But we're not taking it personally. We're not getting down on ourselves. So this time of reflection is not to get down on yourself. That would be a short circuit too, to feel shame and to feel like you are inherently wrong or broken in some way. That's not the message. The message is to liberate the self from the old patterns that have held us down so that we can really move more fully into our potential and our purpose and a life that is fulfilling, that is sharing the light in the world the way that you're uniquely here to do that. So, yes, and I feel like there's something else that I wanted to make a point about. Maybe it'll come back to me. One of the traditions to do on Teshuvah, so on Rosh Hashanah, if you haven't been following me and learning about this day, Rosh Hashanah, it's going to start Friday at sundown, and it's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And every year, this is like an annual day or a cluster of days that are about judgment and atonement, balancing the scales, where we get to sort of get a fresh start every year. Every year, we're sort of evaluated as to, okay, how did you show up this last year? How do you want to show up next year? Where's the gap here? What lessons are you going to need this next year to put enough pressure on you to get there? What do you not need to go through anymore? What have you transcended? What blessings are going to come in for the year? It's like, this is like your big spiritual download. Like all of this light is coming into the soul that makes such potential and possibility for blessing to occur. So there's this light that sort of comes through during these days at the end of this week. And it basically cleanses the soul so we can start fresh going forward the next year. The evaluation is to basically show up at court with our best foot forward. Hey, I've been proactively improving in hopes that I'll have a more merciful judgment, right? Have you ever been to court? So you know you're going to be evaluated, right? So you do your best in advance to build good credit, to make goodwill actions, right? So even if the whole year has been, you haven't really been that conscious of it, if you've been more conscious in the last 30 days, that will count more for you, like through the month of Virgo, than the rest of the year. Like the effort that you've put in the past few weeks, it counts for you. So the other part of this is the opponent, the Satan, has a masculine and feminine quality that it shows up in the masculine form of energy and the feminine form of energy. The opponent can sense all of this surrounding light that's going to come in. And if we short circuit and blow a fuse and fall back into our old patterns, or like blow up in a rage, or get down in despair and despondency and give up, then those are examples of how like we blow a fuse, we blow a gasket, we lose that light, and the opponent can come in and take that potential that's trying to come in. It's like, think about flies or ants that are drawn to honey and sugar. That's like all that sweetness is all around you right now. So if you're tempted this week, be extra mindful to pause and observe, how are you being tempted? How are you being tempted to react through anxiety, sorrow, scarcity, fear, lack, doubt, insecurity, jealousy? What are those on-brand challenges that seem to erupt, every few months or once a year for you? Like, everybody has these assigned things that sort of follow them through life. It's called our tikkun. And it's kind of like karma. And so you may not have the challenges that this other person is always having, and vice versa. But if you look at your particular challenges, you probably have many of the variety that we all have, but we all have some probably specific areas that seem more challenged than others. And you may have noticed that even at this time of year, at the end of the summer, August, September, it's like, wow, I always have these particularly stormy times around these particular subject matters this time of year. And that's why. It's because every year we're being given a chance to sort of pass these tests and go through these little initiations right before this time period where we're evaluated and we figure out, we're being, like our spirit team is helping us figure out and get in order what is going to be our year like for next year. So all these blessings and abundance are about to come in. So do not let the enemy trip you up. The male Satan is the initial trickster who comes in with the first trap. Grandiosity, temptation, lust, greed, power hungriness, divisiveness, separation, rage, lust, whatever it is. And then if you trip up or start taking the lesson personally, like, why am I always faced with this lesson again and again and again? Why am I so broken? I'm cursed. Like, that will also suck the light. The feminine opponent comes in, that energy, that toxic feminine, and is like, oh, look at you. You're never going to change. No one's ever going to love you. You're never going to be successful. You're just cursed. Give up. You should feel so terrible about yourself. You're guilty. You're shameful. You're not worthy. You're not deserving. You don't deserve this. Like, the feminine opponent comes in and makes us feel terrible about ourselves. She affects the way we feel about ourselves. The male Satan might press our buttons, but he gets us to act. He gets us to take an action. The feminine Satan comes in and tries to destroy us based on the fact that we took that action. And she tries to take double the points. So if you can anticipate these challenges coming and pass these tests and not let fear, lack, and doubt get in the way, but choose to look for the light in the situation, or choose to allow the light to come in and assist you and guide you and protect you from the situation. Trust that whatever the outer circumstances are, the light can come in and change everything in any moment. And if you hold on to that certainty and you try to practice that seed level consciousness of sharing, of creator consciousness, and also be careful not to misinterpret sharing as always being the one to put yourself out, right? Because overgiving causes a phenomena called bread of shame. Bread of shame happens when we receive light that we didn't earn, or that wasn't meant for us, or that wasn't in the right timing, or we had taker consciousness, or we wanted to pacify the flesh and, maybe like try to resolve a situation really quick just to make it more comfortable for the self, rather than like evaluating what is the wise choice here. How would the creator act in the situation? Am I interrupting someone else's process? What are my motives really? There's so much that we need to question and evaluate from our own motives at any given time. All right, so bottom line, we want to get in a state of divine agape, of unconditional love, sharing, strength, overcoming our darkness, overcoming our weakness, overcoming those parts of the self. And I know it can be so overwhelming. So if you can just pick out one or two things that you can try, that you can make an effort with, that makes a difference. Even just being aware and doing your best makes a difference. And you build every year. When I just first became aware of Rosh Hashanah, it helped, because just having the consciousness that I was trying to do better and that I was receiving that light, and that there were, and that there were going to be consequences or benefits from that, like that, even that just helped me. So show up where you're at, right? Give what you can. This year, I tried to go deeper in the process of teshuvah. I learned more about it. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I did some things that I didn't want to do, didn't feel like doing. And that I was maybe afraid to face or whatever, in many different categories. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that I felt like I wanted to be a serious student. I didn't want to be empty, just lip service. I knew that I'm showing up facing the creator, and the creator knows my motive. And so I just wanted to, knowing what I know, I knew what I needed to do. And even if my ego didn't understand it or want it justified, it's okay. I did these things for the creator. So again, do what you feel that you are being called to do, but don't force yourself to, don't force it. Let the creator show you. And then don't get down on yourself or feel fear or like you're going to be punished if you don't, because that's almost worse than just not knowing better and like doing your best and, you know, making a mistake. Remember, male Satan will come in and trip you for those first points. Female Satan will come in and try to take the whole pot. Okay, so let's do a Celtic cross to sort of guide us over the next couple of weeks and really over the next month. And even because over the next 3 weeks, all this light is coming in, and pretend like it's like concrete, right? It needs to set. So we need to try to stay in a state of celebration, laughter, Thanksgiving, you know, positive expectation, unity, love, sharing, compassion over the next 3 weeks, and try not to blow a fuse so that the new soul can set, and all that energy and blessing comes into the vessel of our soul, and then it's sealed for us for the year. But we need to be careful over the next 3 weeks. So put on your helmets, fasten your seatbelts, make yourself impervious to outer influences. Nothing will irritate you. Bind me to the mast and plug thy ears with wax. Here come the sirens, people. Okay, so who are we right now in the context of this moment? And so when we have a new moon, this is the seed level of the next 30-day period. It's the seed level for the whole month, the whole moon cycle to come. So it's not just what we're manifesting in this waxing period of the next 2 weeks. The Virgo energy will be going over the whole next month. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So remember how before we were talking about Rosh Hashanah, and we started talking about Rosh Hashanah a few weeks ago, this whole 2023 year has been about the rebirth of the self, right? We have jumped timelines because 2022 was about clearing the ground to rebuild on new foundations, to jump timelines into an up-leveled version of the self, a self that has affinity with that higher self within. And so this whole year has felt like, all right, when's the new life starting? When's the new timeline starting? When are we like finally launching the new self? It doesn't seem like a lot of evidence is showing. It just seems like this year has been tests, trials, tests, and it really has. It's been like these initiations. It's been like being on the launch pad at NASA where systems are turning on and warming up, and those systems are building upon each other. You can't just launch the rocket straight up into space. All systems have to be go, right? So now I feel like this right now, this time period, this is finally launched, all systems go, jumping timelines, because this is the weekend of the month where the new timeline for the next year, the new destiny for the next year is shaped, right? So it's like, this is when all of this is being decided, okay? So I think this is finally happening. So I think that where we might feel like, when are things finally going to start showing? When are things finally going to start changing? It's probably going to be taking place over the rest of the year. That's when it's going to start finally feeling like the gears have shifted and the wheel of fortune is finally turning. I also want to say that there's two things, fate and destiny, and we have both. We do have this fated life, this deck of cards. They're like, our hand has been dealt to us, right? But that's not, we don't resign ourselves to like, this is it and that's all it's ever going to be. Same with astrology. It's not like this is your fate and you have to just accept this. This is like, here, this is the conditions that are going to be happening, and you can choose to do what you will with that. And you can make something with that. You can rise above these conditions. You can totally turn it around. You can make this, use this for your advantage even. It's like knowing the weather, right? The weather, knowing that it's gonna rain doesn't determine who you are or what that day has to be like. It just gives you information that will help you prepare yourself to however you need to prepare yourself to deal with rain that day. Okay. So, us in the context of this moment is that we're fretting. The opponent, the Satan, is going to make us feel fretful and afraid. The Satan doesn't want us to trust the Creator. So the conditions around us right now probably look strained. It may feel like something's drying up or about to slip through your fingers. And again, this is the test to hold on to that certainty. Our consciousness, our intention, our energy is creating and attracting all the time. That law of affinity, that law of attraction is always working, whether we are working it or not. It's like gravity. So right now, there is extra magical energy surrounding us. It's this light of the Creator. And we need to focus on the blessings that we want to see come into fruition. Naming and claiming those blessings, already celebrating our gratitude for them, and not getting too hung up on what exactly they're going to look like, because we don't want our small will or our small perspective to limit what God has in store, to limit what that divine path is, to limit what that divine blessing and abundance and providence will be. So we get into the essence of it, and we can feel it, we can taste it, we can sense it already being there, right? So we're just naming it, claiming it, pulling it in. We don't want to be distracted with when we get frustrated, when we get sad, when we get worried, when the appearances are trying to suck us into the drama. It's that fretting that starts to create self-fulfilling prophecies, that starts to create chaos, that starts to create tension, right? That's feeding the negative side. It's like throwing devil breadcrumbs out and the demons are like pigeons and they're all over it. So do not fret. In fact, this card specifically, this is my straightforward oracle. This is my custom oracle. I am working on self-publishing it. So you guys let me know if you are going to order a copy when I finally get it out. So you are fretting, needless worry, unfocused attention. Stop obsessing. If you obsess over something, it is not showing trust in the Creator. You're not letting go. You're not in surrender. You are thinking that it is by your own hand that things get done. And that is worshiping an idol. It's worshiping the physical, right? We're putting it all on, my job is my provider. No, the Creator is your provider. Oh, my ability to get into the algorithm, is blah, blah, blah. No, God is my algorithm, right? It's not the physical. Right? So it's not up to us to do everything. We are responsible for showing up, for putting in the effort. But what is moving through us, what's animating us at any moment, and what is animating any one of the scenarios playing out in front of us is the Creator. The opponent comes in and tries to mess with the situation and manipulate us within that situation, but the Creator is omnipresent at all times. So do not let that worry come up and throw you off of your trust and your cause consciousness and your certainty. Obsessing. Oh yes. So the opposite of obsessing is letting go completely. It's laughter. It's fun. It's play. You're in complete surrender when you're playing, when you're laughing, when you're in joy. Because you're not worrying, you're not holding on, you're letting it all go, and you're uninhibited. The light of goodness is just flowing through at that moment in an involuntary way, authentic. You can't fake it. You can put on a smile and underneath it, you can still be seething. But when you're really laughing and you're allowing yourself to have some fun and joy, you're really letting go and trusting in that moment, even if you're not aware. Let's see. So stop obsessing, calm down. It doesn't matter that much. Your frantic energy is making it worse. Peace, calm. Everything will work its way out. No use crying over spilt milk. Stop. Leave it alone. Okay. Cease and desist. Put it down. Stand down. Okay. And then, even that rest is so important. Shabbat. So, what's even more important than blowing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah? Shabbat, rest. We're not even allowed to blow the shofar on Friday night or Saturday morning because we are in a time of rest. That precedes and is more important than something that is deemed the most important thing every year. So, and that is every week. It's like every week, the most important thing you can do is stop, let it all go, take your hands off the wheel, and trust the Creator is providing for you. And you need to connect with that source to remind yourself that it's not you, it's the Creator. And that's where you get that nourishment for the week. That's where you get that blessing, that mercy, that shelter from the storm for the week. And it carries over all the way through. So again, by order and decree of God, do not worry, do not fret, fear not, for I am with you, says the Lord. Okay, what is crossing us right now in this moment? Keep the love tank full. Again, Shabbat, source, going within, spending time connecting with source through, I love like KabbalahCenter.com. If you sign up for a free account, you can go to video lessons. It's kind of hard to navigate that website sometimes, but go to video lessons. And there is a daily Zohar portion, and it starts my day off amazing every day, but it is actually timed with the portion of the Zohar that is meant to be read that day of the week, of that day of the month of the year. Every part, and so what the Zohar is, it's like the Torah or the Talmud. It is commentary on the first 5 books of the Bible. It's giving you that code to understand what the Bible is actually about. The Zohar is the study of the context between the lines that's all about the soul. The soul, the elevating the sparks of the soul, elevating the consciousness, changing the heart. This is not the physical acts, but the meaning and the purpose and the spiritual technology behind the physical that we do. This is this deep spiritual study of what the Bible is trying to change within us. So this is about the study of the soul, the Godhead, whatnot. So that is what the Zohar helps with every day. And so again, that's just one thing that I do to keep my love tank full from source, not from outside, right? I have a prayer practice that I keep in the morning and at night, and usually in the middle of the day and throughout the day whenever I can think about it. But I scan certain Hebrew prayers and I pray out loud. I pray freestyle from the heart, and I say certain prayers during certain times a day. So, figure out what works for you. Are you reading any spiritual books? Are you reading any books on personal transformation? Start where you can, but keep your love tank full so that you're not tempted to short circuit or reach for things that are actually self-destructive in an attempt to fill that void. The thing is, in the universe, in our existences, we experience it as human beings. We experience it as dualistic, 2 parts, light and vessel. The truth is that it's all one unified thing. It's all the light. But in the beginning, before there was the physical reality, there was only the light. The light wanted other to share with. And so this physical world was created to be a vessel to receive the light. So again, it's all about connecting with that source to receive. There was another point that I was going to make about that. Keeping the love tank full, connecting, receiving the light. Maybe it'll come to me. Love languages, show your love, take care of each other, give of yourself to your partner if you're in a relationship, because if you are in a committed relationship, you can't put it all on that person to fill your love tank. You've got to fill yours first and then overflow into the other. But also there's an epidemic of intimacy anorexia out there, where people are punishing one another and starving their partner of love and affection and deep connection and communication. And so keep yours full, but if you're in a partnership, also be considerate of your agreement to be in that union, and there's sharing involved with that as well. So yes, keeping love tank full. There was a point I was getting at and it just left me, but maybe it'll come up later if it's supposed to. Okay, so what is the underlying subconscious influence right now that is affecting us? Okay, what is the subconscious influence that is affecting us in this moment that we need to be aware of? The dualism, what was it that we experience? Light and vessel. Oh, I remember. So because the light wanted to share with the vessel, everything, we are vessel. This physical reality is vessel. This is a vessel, literally. A crystal is a vessel. My YouTube channel is a vessel. My goals are vessels. My devotion and desire and commitment to that goal is the vessel. The vessel is everywhere. Everything is an example of a vessel. The vessel contains the light of fulfillment. When we're reaching for things thinking that the thing is going to fulfill me, ooh, this flower is going to fulfill me, I'm perceiving that the light that I get from that flower is coming from the flower. And so I'm constantly reaching for the flower. It's like drugs. If you're addicted to a drug, you're wanting to get the light from that drug, right? But it's not really the drug. It's not really the flower. It's the light within the flower that I'm trying to receive. If you're going after a relationship and you think you need a relationship, what you really want, what you're really craving is the light of the Creator. That's the only thing that's ever going to satisfy you fully. And it's like when you know that that's where you're getting your fulfillment, then you're not controlled by anything. You're not beholden to anything. You're not giving your power away to anything. You're not worshiping anything like an idol, because you're like, okay, it's me and the Creator. And if the Creator wants this in my life, then the Creator will make sure that it is functioning in my life. And if it's not, then the Creator will be removed from my life. But it's like, you can't think that it's the thing on the outside that will give you what you're looking for, because that creates addiction, codependency, right? Enmeshment. Okay, so again, the ultimate fulfillment is within the thing that we're looking for, and it's the light. And so if we know how to fill that tank and keep it full off of the light, then it's like nothing really holds power over us anymore. We're liberated. We're spiritually enlightened and liberated from that illusion. Okay, y'all are gonna believe this. What is the subconscious influence like affecting us right now? Addiction. So again, keeping the love tank full with our spiritual practice by connecting to source, not the outer, right? The food, the shopping addiction, the sex addiction, the addiction to checking to see who's been watching the story, checking like the dating app, looking to see who's been answering. Are you breadcrumbing people to get their attention? What are you addicted to? What is taking your time and energy and resources away from what you could be focusing on to build yourself, to elevate your soul, to become a better vessel for the light, to strengthen your relationship with the light, to build the positive, nourishing aspects of yourself, as opposed to reaching for things to fill a void, to pacify the flesh, right? So addiction is what's really driving you in an unconscious way right now. So again, last couple of days to get clear about what we want to let go of, explore. What are your addictions? Where are you empty in your love tank that's leaving you vulnerable to making questionable decisions, or that's causing you to self-destruct or self-sabotage, or that's driving all your motivation and all of your motives, and what it may be making you obsess. It may be making you act out in ways that you wouldn't be acting out in those ways otherwise. So addiction is affecting us, okay? Or the people around you, or both. Always think, okay, look for it in yourself before you start trying to fix other people. It's not up to us to fix other people. We can share, you know, and even then sometimes it's like you can't interrupt someone else's process either, but we're not here to fix that savior complex, right? That's a codependent enmeshment pattern as well. But what we can do is look to what we need to heal within ourselves and seek healing for within ourselves. And then either the people around us in our life that aren't good for us, that aren't in affinity, they'll fall away, or we'll figure out that they need to. We might be asked by the creator to make those changes, you know, or I mean, mountains can be moved. I know that when I was in my last serious relationship, I wasn't really sure if I should be in it or not. And I prayed for a solution, for the creator to help me. And during Rosh Hashanah, during the full moon or the month of Virgo leading up to Rosh Hashanah, that's when the relationship ended. And I didn't take the action. It ended for me. And I knew that I was being protected and that was what was meant to happen in that moment. Okay. All right. The next card will be an influence from the past that's beginning to dissipate. That is not, it's like a lesson that we've learned that may be still affecting us a little bit, but the influences are beginning to dissipate. Clear communication. Speak your truth. Speak clearly. Say what you mean. Double check communication. Simple, clear message. Speak your truth. This has come up in different decks this week, in just about every one of our readings in our nightly videos. There may be a need this week leading up to Rosh Hashanah. There has been communication happening, or that still needs to go on, but there may be things that you need to say, that you need to communicate, that you need to hear, that need to be clarified, that need to be brought out in the open. This may be something that helps you break an addiction, that helps you see something more clearly that you couldn't have seen before. This may be the thing that it may be a truth that you need to come into full awareness of and speak out loud. This may be a boundary you need to set, or some lesson that you have with a person that isn't complete until you finish getting to the bottom of how you were there to help or teach one another within maybe challenges you had together. So whatever it is, you may need to have a talk. Be mindful to pray beforehand that the creator will speak for you and through you, that you are there and to be truly of service, and the creator will tell you what to do, where to go, what to say, and to whom. Also, we're still in Mercury retrograde, so there is potential for miscommunication. So be mindful about what you are saying, how you are saying it, the words that you choose to use. In just general, because our language, our words are powerful. We are the speaking kingdom. In the 4 living kingdoms, there's the inanimate kingdom, it's the mineral kingdom, there's the plant kingdom, there is the animal kingdom, and there's the speaking kingdom. And each of those are like higher and higher and higher in consciousness, right? We're not called the human kingdom. We're called the speaking kingdom, because this is what separates us from the rest. This is what gives us the greatest affinity with the light. The ability to take a concept and verbalize it. The ability to take something from nothing and bring it into the physical. A thought becoming words is us pulling something from nothing and creating physical with it. So that gives us affinity with the light. So our words, the power of life and death is in our tongue. So what we say, it creates thought forms. It sets energy in motion in the universe. It's like putting in an order, right? Through the thing at the drive-thru. The universe is always listening. So be careful about the words you're using, what you're saying, who you're talking to about what and to whom. Be careful. Put duct tape over your mouth. If it's not nice, then don't say it. But like, just be careful. Then that's not necessarily true either. Because nice is also toxic. It could be people pleasing. So just be mindful, be intentional, be discerning, and be wise. Don't be running off the don't be running your gob. Don't be running your mouth. Don't gossip. Try to do what you can to refrain from negative speech. But if you have to speak about something that may be in a gray area for the sake of this important communication that has to happen, be careful about the way that you discuss it. And to who, and to why, and to what your motives are. Because the discussion can create more chaos as well. So it really depends on your motive and the seed level of consciousness as you go into it. So really try to prepare yourself, and with integrity and authenticity too. Okay, what is crowning us right now? What has the potential to come in? What kind of energy is building? What is crowning us at this moment? Ooh, okay. So you're making too big of a deal of this. Time to move on. The situation has no more to give. There's nothing left for you here. So there might be something that you have known is like kind of coming to an end. It's like, there's parts of us that we're letting go of, right? It's like we're trying to move forward. And so that means that there are habits that we're leaving behind. It means that there may be, relationships that are changing. They are leaving, or the context is shifting. But there's something that maybe you are putting up on a pedestal right now that you think is so great and that you can't let go of. But maybe you're making too big of a deal of it, and it's time to just let it go because it's kind of keeping you from your next level. There's always a sacrifice asked of us, especially during these high holy times of year, particularly right now. And Teshuvah, Tishlek, on the new moon. So if you're watching this the day of the new moon, which is the 14th, you are going to want to do, if you can, a ritual known as Tishlik. And this is when we walk to a body of water with bread, and we meditate to cast our sin upon the bread. These are those things that we don't want to take with us. These are the things about ourselves that we want to grow, heal, change, habits, patterns, things that we want to cast away and be rid of. Things that we're sacrificing. This is us making a sacrifice. In other traditions, they may sacrifice a chicken or a goat, but we don't have to go that far. So we're going to do it the vegetarian route, the animal safety route, easier route. There's also positive secrets behind the use of sacrifice, but that's a whole other thing to go into. So Tashlik, we cast our sins upon this bread, and we cast it into the water. The water is a medium of the Holy Spirit, of cleansing, of purity, of washing away. Rabbis, mikvah, they take that baptism before they go into Rosh Hashanah, before they even prepare their consciousness to blow the shofar. They cleanse. They do this ritual cleansing. So yes, part of that is the sacrifice. It's like, what are you willing to let go? You may perceive this as something so precious to you, but it's really not that. And so the moment that you're able to give that up, the blessing comes in. Maybe you don't even have to give it up. Maybe the willingness to make the sincere gesture to let it go, maybe that's good enough. But whatever it is, just remember that when Abraham had to take Isaac as a sacrifice, Isaac was an adult by then. He was aware of what was going on. This wasn't just like a little kid. Isaac had this tikkun of judgment in his life where, it had been all about receiving, but he had many challenges around that. And Abraham had a tikkun of being overly merciful, overly giving. He would never do something evil or taking, right? And so they had to go both against themselves. Isaac was Abraham's precious son that he waited his whole life for. This was his cherished gift. That was the very thing he was being asked to give up. And so when they got to the mount where they were going to put Isaac on the altar, he was bound. They bound him. Restricting the desire to receive for the self alone. Being able to lay the soul down, right? Lay our life down, lay that ego down on the altar in willingness. On Abraham's side, he was being asked to take an action where he didn't understand at all. Why would the Creator ask me to do this evil act? I don't understand why. I know I have to, I know I need to trust Creator. I know that even if it means sacrificing what I hold in my perception of myself as my spirituality, I have to obey the Creator. I've got to trust that this is what is being asked for me and that I will be taken care of. And this is the motive of my heart, is to serve the Creator. And so I have to go against even my own comfort zone, my own body consciousness, to take this act as a sacrifice to the Creator. And I don't know what this is going to mean for me. At the last minute, when they both were willing to take the action, Isaac volunteered, bind me, restrict my body consciousness. I will lay myself down on the altar. Abraham, restricting the body consciousness of wanting to do the merciful thing, of being ruthless. When they were ready to go through the act, a ram or a goat showed up. I can't remember which one in the story. Sometimes it's goats, sometimes it's rams at different holidays. And so even in that moment, when the angels brought the ram, Abraham was like, wait, is this a trick? Is this the Satan trying to get me to now pacify my flesh by taking the sacrifice that has been offered instead? Or am I still supposed to sacrifice Isaac? Do I sacrifice the goat now? What do I do? And it's still even pressing further. Am I doing the light's bidding? What is the light asking of me in this moment? Is this another trick of the opponent? Really trying so hard to see truly, clearly what is being asked. And so then an angel came and was like, no, the Creator, I think even maybe the Creator chimed in, and it was like, no, this is really me. You don't have to sacrifice Isaac. You guys all did great. You volunteered, you jumped on the knife, and now you're reprieved. So again, be willing. Something huge might come in that is just taking up the space for. The universe loves a void. The moment that you take that thing out of your car that's been taking up the whole back of your car, it's 3 days later, somebody's going to be like, oh, I meant to give you this. And the whole big back of your car is messed up again and taken up by the big thing. The universe loves a void. The moment you clean your house, someone's going to be like, you know what? Here's my bag. Go through it. You're like, I just cleaned out my closet. So think about that. Think about that when you are wanting to hold on to something that maybe it's you're ready to let go and move on, but it's just hard. Just trust that something big is going to happen instead. That you're being moved in a better direction. Okay, what is just around the corner? What is coming around the corner? Oh, trust your gut. Okay, so you're being asked to trust your gut and take a leap of faith based on your intuitive guidance in this new direction. So again, there's going to be something is going to feel like it's going to be a risky move. The universe wants you to do it. It doesn't want the circumstances to do it for you. So it needs to be a proactive choice to realize that, okay, I'm moving forward. I am now holding this above the Creator, above the highest good at this point, and I'm making a bigger deal out of it than I need to. So I need to trust and make a move based on the guidance that I'm receiving from Holy Spirit. Okay, what is the perception that is holding us back right now? So the law of attraction has been activated. So in this position, our perspective that is affecting us right now is our perspective, essentially. It's like, it's our perception and our expectations and our intention that is creating what we see are our circumstances right now. It's the seed level of consciousness that we're creating from. So our intentions, like what we place our attention on grows. So put your attention on the light. Put your attention on how you want to build yourself up into your next level right now. But focus on what you want more of. And don't let fear, lack, and doubt cause you to obsess. And if you are even obsessing over one goal that you are trying to create, maybe so that you're not fully gripped and trying to control that, place your attention on the different categories of your life in a balanced way. Try to spread your attention in positive, healthy ways over the different areas of your life. The new moon in Virgo, just from an astrological standpoint, is all about creating new healthy routines for ourselves, new positive structures that we can build on, that we can build from a more perfected state. Not like perfectionism, but something that is sound and just and whole and good. Affect consciousness from outer perspective that is affecting us now. And again, you know, the Virgo new moon, it could have to do with getting rid of things that aren't good for us, like our addictions, you know, negative behavioral patterns. So the outer influence that's affecting us now is affect consciousness. We are surrounded by maybe others who are operating from a state of affect consciousness. That is, so there's different categories that things are separated into in Kabbalah. And one of these sort of two-part categories is the seed level of consciousness you're in. And so one way to look at it in a dualistic sense is, are you coming from a position of cause consciousness in affinity with the light of the Creator? Or are you coming from an affinity with affect consciousness? The Creator is the cause of all. Nothing affects the Creator. The Creator has irritating circumstances around. That doesn't change what the Creator does. The Creator is always this flowing source of light, unfluctuating, unchanging. So when we are affect consciousness, that is, oh, these outer circumstances are making me scared. I am feeling fear, I'm feeling lack, I'm feeling doubt. Like I'm believing in everything that I'm seeing, and therefore I am affected and I am taking action based on that. I am changing according to my conditions around me. I am not being cause consciousness at that point, right? Or, oh, I have a shiny object that looks exciting, that looks tempting. Ooh, I want to go after that. But like, is it really in my highest good? Is it in an alignment with the goals that I have, or, you know, the divine plan and path that I'm on? Or is this pulling me off path? So it's like you have to become that cause, sustaining. I'm having affinity with the light. I'm turning to the light for guidance. I'm turning to the light to lead me and guide me. I am not affected by the outer appearances or circumstances, right? Great example of this is the recession. So when we're affected by those around us, that's kind of the thing about this card. It's not just our own affect consciousness, but it's the fact that we're surrounded by people who are living in a state of affect consciousness at all times. Even when you're aware of that, it's hard to practice. It takes discipline. So we can't even help but be affected by the collective consciousness out there. Think about the recession. Everyone is talking about the recession. You know, spending less money, like like, oh, my investments. And it's like they're taking action based on their perception of the recession. Smart financial people who understand the market aren't affected by a recession. They keep buying. They know that it's going to turn around, that the market fluctuates. So their strategy and their actions are not being affected. They're not selling off everything. They're not panic buying. they're just going with the plan because they see the big picture. They see the projected, trend, and they know that it's like, okay, if I do this, A, B will equal C. And there will be different factors, but I'm not going to be affected by this. I'm just going to continue and let the compounding interest build. So that's a great example of that. It's like the zeitgeist, I can't remember what the thing is called. It's like, is it the Maharishi effect when like groups of people meditate and it like lowers the crime rate in the area? It's the same. It's like when everyone is hysterical in the collective consciousness of the whole world, or if everyone is feeling greed or, competitiveness, we can't help but be affected by that. We're all connected. And so again, it's like when personal development people talk about how you are the sum of the 5 people you are around at any given point. It's like those people affect you. So again, be mindful about how you curate your surroundings and the people around you and what you will allow to affect your consciousness, Okay, so hopes and fears. A lucrative partnership, indecision is keeping you in a stalemate. A new job, a promising partnership, combining elements to yield greater success. So there might be a good opportunity coming in, or maybe an idea forming, or something that you are currently working on that requires you to sort of combine all parts together. But maybe you're hesitant. Maybe you're like, I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to build anything. I don't know if it's going to lead anywhere. And so again, it's the indecision a lot of times that is keeping us stuck. And so many entrepreneurs, their method is fell fast and fell forward, right? Like, okay, I have an idea, let's try it, doesn't work, quick change, right? They don't stay in a failing situation. They move on. They try something else. They don't beat themselves up. They don't say, I can never start another business again. They just keep going. But they're very decisive. And that's what makes the best CEOs the best CEOs. They're decisive. They can make a decision and not be like, well, I don't know what we should do. I'm confused. I need to talk to so-and-so. I need to talk to 100 people to see what they think. And then I'm even more confused. So it's like, set your consciousness, set your vibrational thermostat, and don't let anything else change it except for the creator, right? Be open to, spiritual change. Always keep an open mind that you could be making a mistake, that you may be misinterpreting something from the creator, right? But from that place, just know that sometimes you just need to make a decision, and if it's a mistake, own it and then do something about it. But you can't hold yourself back forever in fear of making a mistake, because then you stay stagnant. And then towers have to come in, then the creator has to come in and shake things up, because you're resting on a false sense of security, or you're not in the timeline that you need to be, or you're not in alignment with your purpose anymore. It's like some seasons of our life change and they come and go and they evolve, but they're not always the same. And so we don't need to hold on to one season. That stagnates us. Okay, so final outcome. What is our outcome, or the probable outcome in the situation? So creation phase 1. So this is fresh start, but it's a passive desire right now. And this is tying in to, there's opportunity coming in, but you need more than a passive desire. Creation phase 1 is that initial spark of an idea, but you're not fully committed yet. So you may be at the beginning of something, but you're not going all in yet. And we are getting those sparks of light, that new fresh soul, that new fresh start. So in a way, we are starting again at the beginning of creation phase 1. Embrace the fact that, okay, I am clean slate, fresh start. I'm at 1. I'm at creation phase 1. Where do I go from here? Creation phase 2, which is an active desire where we are putting in all the energy, all the effort, all the devotion. We're doubling down. We're coming at it from all ends. We're coming at it spiritually, physically, like every way we can come at it. We are coming at a problem or a goal, and we are overwhelming it with light and effort. And when we get tired, we overwhelm that with effort. We take our Shabbat, but we put in the devotion and the passion and the commitment to push through our comfort zone, to push through our... So I will read this. I have to go to work, and then I'll come home and finish the workshop after work. But desire, dream, illusion, fantasy, idea, a passive desire, receiving without earning, not willing to do the work, unclear desire, unfulfilled, not yearning or craving, wanting but not willing to make the effort yet, hoping the Creator brings it to me or does it for me, vague desire, self-doubt, justification, comfort, mediocrity. So again, tying into time to move on, indecision, you're making too big of a deal of this. Trust your gut, addiction, like something that you don't want to let go of. That thing that doesn't have any more to offer you. It's like that's the sacrifice, that's the initiation, that's the thing that you have to do, is you have to make that decisive decision to take action. Or to come to that realization and start acting from that place, from that new perspective. But this is up to you to pass that initiation. And so Creator does not want you to passively sit back and hope for a miracle to come in and save you. The Creator is asking you to do this of your own accord, because you are making the effort to break that addiction, to put that idol aside, to make the changes that you need to make, to move forward in a new on a new timeline, in alignment with that divine potential for your life. Okay, I'm gonna pause and we'll come back and we'll continue working. I'm back. How is everyone? I know you were already just here. It's been a few hours for me. I had to work. It's a crazy shift, but good. And now we will continue. So let us, before we get into, actually, let's clarify with some tarot. Let's grab 4 cards to sum up the reading so far. What do we need to know for the next moves? Okay, so 3 of Swords in reversed, Ace of Swords, all right, okay. Caught my eye, strength. All right, so we have 3 of Swords in reversed. We have Ace of Swords upright. We have Strength in reverse, and we have King of Wands in reverse. So yeah, it's, you know, a little bit of a mixed bag. The 3 of Swords in reversed, it does talk about starting to heal from heartbreak and upset. Maybe like the swords are beginning to fall out of the heart. It's, you know, it's not stinging so much anymore. And we're starting to have a lot of clarity and insight about where we're going next, you know, having revelatory ahas about it all, seeing things clearly. Having a fresh perspective and a fresh burst of energy and inspiration. But this is really like a moment of clarity coming through, like the sword of truth just cutting through the crap. Strength in reverse and King of Wands in reverse. I feel like there's something maybe that you were just trying to push and push and push that has just become more of a heavy burden than you can bear. And I think that it is, you know, maybe like some of the patterns that we're giving up and we're letting go of, maybe they stemmed from a seed level perception that we were just being strong and we were enduring and we were continuing to do something. And maybe we felt like it would be a lack of strength to walk away. But in this situation, it's like we don't have the strength to carry that burdensome pattern anymore. That same old story, that same old loop of lessons. King of Wands in reverse, I feel like this is like the controlling version of the king that's domineering and hard. And I feel like that type of strength is falling away. That sense of needing to control, that toxic masculine, over domineering, forceful energy. I would like to refer to Eileen Conley's, because I feel like I like to intuitively take that message, but I also, when it comes to reverse cards, sometimes I like to just double check with Eileen Conley, because sometimes the reverse meanings, there can be multiple, and sometimes they can be very surprising. So strength in reversed, do not lose your nerve or surrender. This will force you to resort to alternatives that can upset future plans. So it's like, don't be disheartened. Don't give up. Just stop pushing so forcefully. Don't try to force a square peg into a round hole. Heed the wisdom in this card. Issues forced make life hard. A domineering attitude will not solve the problem. You must have harmony to succeed. So again, that domineering, overly domineering energy there. If you really believe that you are right, then be firm, but don't cause distress to others. So again, this is like staying strong in your convictions, but don't do it at the expense of others. You don't have to be forceful. You don't have to force your agenda. This week, the female or the feminine King of Swords came up, and it had to do with being able to effectively communicate your ideas and feelings and visions in a way that inspires others and inspires unity. Okay, strength reversed. Reality must be faced. This will clarify the disturbing influences. You cannot progress until you understand this fully. So this deep dive we've been doing in Rosh Hashanah, during Teshuvah, leading up to Rosh Hashanah, it's like there is something that you need to get to further into. There needs to be something that you go deeper under the surface of. Maybe there is a situation that is playing out that you need to, like, you keep stopping at a surface level. Oh, this must be the problem. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe there is a conversation that, and this came up too in the anchor message for the week, that we may be needing to have a conversation. Maybe that is one of the things that that Teshuvah is asking of us, or our tikkun correction. Maybe we have to set a boundary. Maybe we need to fully express something that we've been through with another person. Either way, I feel like there's something to be faced in that you're not seeing, or that we aren't seeing, or that we are cushioning ourselves with a plausible deniability or something of that nature. So we really need to look straight at an issue, not to avoid it at all, and really see it clearly, right? This Ace of Swords, the sword of truth, that clarity coming in. I am just going to go ahead while we're here, and let's see what King of Swords in reverse, if there's anything additionally that will be notable. The King of Wands in reverse. You feel no, that's Nine of Wands. A man inclined to be intolerant and strict in his manner could be opposing the client. Eyes of blue, hair red and fair, disagreement you can share. A man in his maturity, indication of a disagreement or dispute. Be the first to withdraw. You may feel uneasy through lack of tolerance in a business concern. So again, there may be, so be sure that all the facts are correct. Don't allow anyone to be overly aggressive towards you. Interesting. Indication of a disagreement or a dispute. Be the first to withdraw. Be sure that all the facts are correct. Don't let anyone be overly aggressive with you. And you may feel easy through a lack of tolerance in a business concern. So I feel so in our daily TikTok message too today, the Page of Cups came up in reversed. And it's like, I even said then, there's this theme this week of not being a pushover, but also don't be harsh in return. It's like, be fair and compassionate, but be strong and take up for yourself. Don't be overly domineering. Don't let anybody be overly domineering with you. Don't let people trick you or fool you or try to twist it around, twist the story. But yeah, this is just, and again, going under the surface, going further than what is obviously presented to you to get full clarity and really get to the bottom of a situation. And also maybe you're telling someone else the weight of their part in the situation that they don't even know about. And this is uncomfortable stuff sometimes, but sometimes it needs to be clarified for the sake of everyone involved, for the highest good of all involved. It's hard to sometimes confront people with the truth or demand the truth for yourself. But sometimes that's what needs to be done for both parties to heal and correct. And then while we're here, Three of Swords reversed, there has been pain and separation, disagreement. So it's like the message is similar to the upright, but the circumstances are not quite so severe. So, and again, remember, we were saying you're making too big of a deal of this, like, address something, but don't blow it up bigger than it is, and don't let anyone else imply that something is bigger than it is either. So, similar interpretation, but the situation or circumstances are not so severe. Upset tears, all is gone. Aching heart, needs someone. Too much disorder and confusion, need for organization. Petty quarrels can lead to serious disagreements. Be the peacemaker. Although it may be difficult, someone has to say he is sorry. Think before you speak. Don't feel sorry after it's too late. So, there may be opportunity for a conversation. Reflect before this conversation so that you can have perspective, so that you can be emotionally sober enough to communicate clearly and be able to continue the conversation from a level head so that your points or ideas can be communicated clearly and that other person who's listening is not completely shut off in defense mechanism. Don't let it go petty. Don't let it turn into a tit for tat. Try to take the higher ground, try to put your pride aside and think of the purpose of the conversation. The goal is for healing, forgiveness, unity, understanding, clarity, and correction. Not punishment, not blame, not shame, not continued holding grudge, but peace talks, right? Clearing the air, heart to hearts, communicating a boundary, communicating a truth. But this is probably something that has been building. Even if the situation is recent, it might piggyback on a lifetime of tendencies to maybe not want to speak up, or maybe, you were too afraid that if you spoke your truth that you would be punished or abandoned or what have you. But I think that having the courage to address this is part of the sacrifice, part of the ask of, you know, this up-leveling of Rosh Hashanah, of that when we were talking about sacrifices. Okay, so let's pull, actually before we do the Angel Tarot, let's pull a card from the Moonology deck by Yasmin Bolin. I love this little oracle for all the moon phases. All right, what do we need to know for this month ahead? Ooh, fiery climax approaches. Gee whiz. Ooh, what's going to happen here? So a fiery climax is approaching. This is basically the climax of the year that's going on. This is the spiritual new year, essentially. And so, yeah, there may be unfolding issues that are coming to conclusion. This is almost like the series finale, like the last episode of season 1 of the new life that we are living. Or there's maybe it was like a buffer season between old life and the new series that's starting, and maybe it was like a 4-part mini series. This is the conclusion of the in-between period. So yeah, there are things that are really culminating, maybe lessons that you're finally seeing the big picture about, things that you're finally able to give up and move beyond. Maybe you've completed some things that are big accomplishments, and maybe now you're just feeling like, oh, all that's over and now what, you know? So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting month for sure. Just looking at these cards, the clear communication again is there. Affect consciousness, indecision, trusting your gut. All right, what does the Angel Wisdom Tarot have to say? What more about this fiery climax? Speak to that. I could use a fiery climax, you know, so. Okay, Page of Pentacles. So again, this is the culmination of a lesson, something that we've been learning for a long time. Scholarly, cheerful, dependable, mischievous. Time to get to work. An excellent opportunity presents itself. Happy news about your career, promotions, or scholarships, a new area of study. So yeah, maybe these old lessons are finally closing out and new things are ready to come in, but it's about wrapping up this chapter of our life. Being able to let go of things that are no longer serving us, that aren't in alignment for our highest good or the highest good of all. And getting really clear about that, and getting really clear about why they were not in alignment or why those things aren't going forward, so that you can be clear about what it is that you are calling in going forward and why, what it is about those things. Okay, let's connect with our manifestations. We're going to pull a few cards about our manifestation goals. What do we need to know as far as making our dreams and goals a reality over the next month? What's going to help us? Protection. You and your loved ones and possessions are safe and protected by heaven. So again, that needless worry card that came up. Don't worry, don't fret. Everything is safe. We have this illusion of being in this desert right now, of dry, harsh conditions. We're being tempted by the opponent this week into anxiety, sorrow, despair, all kinds of things, irritability, anger. And what we have to do is just remind ourselves that all of that is an illusion. All of the things, the triggers this week, all of it is an illusion. It's all just the adversary trying to still this light, this surrounding light that's coming in for our blessings to come for the year. So try to, when you have that anxiety, just right then say a prayer to Creator. Creator, I know you have this under control. I know that this is an illusion. I know that there's nothing to fear and that you are in everything. And any moment, this situation can turn around for my highest good. Show me what you want me to see in this. Show me how you want me to show up in the situation, what you'd have me do, what I'm supposed to be learning from this, but guide me and lead me and help me go forward unencumbered by fear. Unencumbered by fear, lack, or doubt. So just know, be secure that regardless of circumstantial appearance right now, that things are okay. All right, what else do we need to know for this week with our goals and our dreams and our manifestations? Accept heaven's help. You've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. So again, right, it's just confirming that when you, not even just when you need help, definitely ask for help. Your angels are around all the time to help with everything. They won't intervene unless you ask them. You have to engage with this energy. You have to invite it in. So pray, accept heaven's help. I like to pray in the morning. I like to pray in the night. I like to pray through the day. When I'm at work and I am preparing my section and doing mise en place, where you're polishing all the stuff at the table, I say a blessing over each of my tables at the beginning of every shift and try to set the space, try to get my seed level of consciousness right for the night. And that is every time I remember to do it, and it does make a difference. It really does. All right. Getting out of the way too and letting heaven help. It's like accept heaven's help. Like when you do have things showing up to try to extend a hand or to give you some support or to give you something, don't immediately turn it away. We're so quick to say, oh, no, even with a compliment, oh, no. It's like you're turning the universe away. You're saying, no, I'm not going to receive. I can't receive. I'm not open to receiving. So the universe doesn't give to you because the vessel is closed. So not only do you need to ask for help, but when it comes, take it. If somebody has an idea, even if it's not something that you are like, yeah, I'm going to take that idea, just listen. Maybe that idea will spark another idea, but be open to receiving assistance, to receiving help. Be helpable. Be able to, like nothing is more frustrating than those people who like will not let you help them. Like nobody can like assist this person. Like you can't make them happy. So like that is so frustrating and it's so disheartening. You know, I want to light my candle. So yeah, don't be that. Let people help. Allow things to get better. I'm going to help myself with this pumpkin spice candle. This is I burnt my finger. I am a pumpkin spice hoe. I love pumpkin spice everything. I have pumpkin spice covered almonds right now and they're delicious. Okay, let's continue. I got my creature comfort over there. We need our fire. Okay, what else do we need to know about our manifestations? There's a blazing inferno over there. My flower. All right, what else do we need to know about our manifestations beyond knowing that we're protected, receiving heaven's help, praying about it? Worthiness, know that you deserve to receive good in all ways. Again, another thing that closes the vessel from receiving the light is feeling like we don't deserve it, like we're not worthy. Again, the female opponent's trick is to make us feel like we're not worthy, like we're not deserving, so that we're closed off. The vessel is closed off. What happens when you pour water onto a container with a lid on it? Spills out everywhere, right? If we're a closed off vessel, who do you think's getting that spillover? The other side. Usually you can see my scales up there as a visual, right? And it really solidifies that idea of our sparks of light being taken into the other side and used as a shell of negativity. Think about how that shell will form. If you feel like, oh, I don't deserve, like I made a mistake. Now I'm cursed. I'm wrong. I've resigned myself to despair. I'll never forgive myself for this. I'm not worthy of it. I don't deserve it. Nothing will ever work out. I will never get anything. I am so alone. All of this stuff the shells around you are causing the light to bounce right off. And then the shell is solidifying because you're like, see, nothing's working out. Everything's falling through. It's all falling apart. Nothing will ever work out. I don't deserve this. And it becomes this belief and this shield around you that is repelling all of the good that wants to come in. And so it's almost like the shell gets harder and thicker the more you believe it, and the more that this, like the energeticness of it is like, it's like going in a broken record, like a locked groove. It's like the unworthiness and the low vibration are causing you to miss out on more light. And so you're reinforcing the fact that I'm not receiving, I'm in lack, I don't deserve. And then you're like, why are they receiving? And it just starts piling up and compounding until you're weighted down under these shells of heavy lead. Meanwhile, all the light inside of you, from the light of the creator, from source, wants to come out. It wants to come up into your awareness. It wants to be expressed into your life, to be fulfilled, right? But it can't because it's closed off in those negative shells. And so the way that we break through those negative shells is by proactive change, transformation, healing, overcoming our darkness, facing fears, going through this discomfort, unfortunately going through pain and hardship many times breaks those shells away. There are different ways in which we are cleansed spiritually, but one of them on a yearly basis is Rosh Hashanah. Every night our soul leaves the body, goes up for a mini judgment day with our spirit team, and comes back down. So we are renewed. We like have a death and resurrection, and we're reborn every day with that brand new clean slate. Once a year, we have this major rebirth where we are given that clean slate. So again, it's like we always keep having these chances of redemption, right? So just don't give up hope. Know that you deserve, and that, a fresh start can happen every day, right? Every day is a new day. Dream big. Let go of small thoughts about yourself. See yourself succeeding. So again, get in a state of worthiness, and then pray as though it has already happened and you will receive it. Pray as excited as you are, as if it is a done deal. Feel the feelings of having that. Feel the joy and the gratitude you will feel on the other side of that dream coming into fruition. Feel what it's like to live in that dream, showing up and serving the way that you want to serve. Whatever this is that you are dreaming of building, imagine yourself doing that thing and feel the fulfillment of it even before it's arrived in the physical. Make it true on an energetic, spiritual level first. And then the outer circumstances will align. Okay, now let's take a look at our love lives. What do we need to know over the next month that is going to be helpful? What would Divine have us do with our love lives over the next month? You deserve love. So yeah, this is, again, what love and money are connected. And it's not that your manifestation is necessarily related to money, but it might have to do with something that you do out in the world, something that you're creating, that where you are, using your purpose for something, and there may be money involved in that. Love and money are connected, and in order to receive anything, particularly love, it's like you have to know that you deserve love. It's so hard to get down on yourself and feel undeserving, or just forget to feel deserving. Maybe you're just going through the motions and you're not really thinking about it that much at all. But yeah, we have to be in a state of feeling that we deserve and knowing that we are lovable. So don't get down on yourself, because I think that we're on the verge of something new coming in. It's just that we're going through a trial and a test right now, to where we're being asked to sacrifice something. We're being asked to let go and make space and have trust and feel the feelings and let it go and not force anything. Really talk, have the conversations that you need to have to like clear the slate and make way for up-leveled opportunities and love to come in, because we have getting to know each other here. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Now, this could be a new person, or it could be someone that you already know, that maybe it has to do with the communication that needs to happen. Who knows? I have a feeling though, according to all the other themes for the week and for recently, that this is quite possibly a new situation is coming in. Regardless of who you need to talk to, I think when we let go of what is not aligned, something else is ready to come in. It's like that sacrifice that we were talking about with Isaac and Abraham. It's like when we put that Isaac on the chopping block, something else is going to come in instead. And it might not be that we are keeping Isaac. Isaac may still be slaughtered, but we might keep the ram. Who knows? All right, so I did just see release your ex card. So that might be a confirmation that this is letting the past go and making way for something new in the future. And maybe letting go of the past requires some thorough conversations to really just clean it all up and leave some clean edges and get rid of any, lingering strings that attach you to people. Anger and unforgiveness keep you attached to someone just as much as unrequited love would. Codependency. So yeah, one of the patterns that we're overcoming, this addiction, also plays into codependency. So knowing and practicing that you are worthy, knowing that Creator is your source and not someone else. No one is going to give you happiness. No one is going to validate you. No one is going to prove your worth to you. If you give someone that power, then that is dangerous because they can take that from you. That's codependency. When we're interdependent, we have our own solid, secure attachment style. We're secure in ourselves. We're secure in the Creator. We're not looking to someone else to be our end all be all. And so we are overcoming codependency. And the thing is that, codependency is not always like it doesn't always look like two people who are so obsessed with each other that they can't leave each other's side and that they have to do everything together. Like that can be codependent too. Sometimes codependent are toxic cycles where one person is the perpetrator and the other one is the victim, or one person is the addict and the other person is the enabler. One person is always listening to another person, to always talking to them. Like you're the therapist and they're the patient kind of thing. It's like when you have these roles, these dynamics that you are always playing out with people, then that is codependency. If you feel like you are pigeonholed in that role and you can't get out of it, then it's like you need to start setting those boundaries and communicating more clearly. And if you feel like you can't do that, then that is you being trapped in the codependency. That's you participating in the enmeshment. And the codependency, it's something that you have to take your power back from. It's not like someone else is going to be like, okay, we're not going to be codependent anymore. You can go now. Stop being codependent. Like someone else can't do this for you. You have to do it yourself because you have to claim your independence. By having someone else do it, then you're still codependent. All right. So what is our final card for our love lives for the next month? Let your friendships help. Let your friends help. Ask for and accept support from others. So again, there's a lot of themes here about asking for heaven's help, letting your friends help you. Maybe, there's a trusted friend that can help you see your blind spots. Maybe there is a supportive friend who really gets you and can give you, an ear to hear you out and have like a heart to heart about, what they think. I'm lucky, like I have a great BFF, and we are like spiritual running buddies, and we're always like workshopping things out together. But she and I both do 2B magnetic work together, so we get to like compare notes when we're going to the workshops. But yeah, it's great. But like, let your friends help you. Also, when you have a healthy group of strong friendships and relationships with your family and community around, you feel less vulnerable. You're less vulnerable to feel so needy for that codependent dynamic. And it's not that you need to transfer that addiction onto groups of people at that point. But the more supported that we are with a network of people, of a community, you're not placing a person on a pedestal. And that might not be a specific person. Maybe you have it in your mind that you need a romantic partner to be your end all be all. But really, it's like you can't expect 100% of everything from a romantic partner either. That's a codependent expectation. It's like no one can be everything to you. So you have to get these things from groups of people and varieties and your whole community. It takes a village, right? It takes a village to raise us. So let your friends help and ask for support. Okay, let us check in with Mary, Jesus's mom, and get some motherly advice from the mother, the mother, watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. So again, double emphasis, relax. There's no need to fret. All is well. All is taken care of. You're safe to let go of what doesn't serve you. You're safe to speak the truth. You are safe to ask for help from heaven. You're safe to allow your friends to help you and accept help from others. The fear is another thing that closes off the vessel. So relaxing into surrender, the surrender of trust, the surrender of peace, the surrender of faith, of hope. Surrender in that way is cathartic. It's a relief. It allows you to put down the heavy burden that's just too much to carry. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we give the last word to Jesus. We're going to pull an oracle card from Loving Words from Jesus. So this was Doreen Virtue's last deck. I have a lot of her oracle cards and her tarot cards, and people loved Doreen. She retired and denounced the tarot, but I don't know if she still has this particular deck in print because she went very traditional, conservative Christian route and gave up the rights to all her decks, and they stopped being printed, so they're out of print now, so they're very rare. But Loving Words from Jesus may still be out there because she may feel differently about this one. This is all Bible verses of Jesus quotes, things that Jesus said in the New Testament. I'm just wondering what these say because I came up with it. Okay. Seek and you shall find. So again, delve deeper. Have the courage to have the difficult conversations or conversation that you need to have. When you seek spiritual truth, you will find it. You may not find it easily. You may have to persistently knock on the door to have that revelation come through. Sometimes the Creator tests us in that way. How much skin do you have in the game? How sincere are you? How serious are you about this? I considered that when it was time to do Teshuvah, and I took the classes that told me the steps, and it was like, I have to have, uncomfortable conversations that I didn't want to have. It's like, oh God, but it's like, I was determined. I was like, am I a serious, for real spiritual student or not? Or am I? Let not your heart be troubled, and neither let it be afraid. So again, don't be afraid. Don't let your heart be troubled. Jesus says so. But again, he's holding this child like Mila Jovovich lookalike mermaid is holding a child. Mary is holding the baby Jesus here in the protection card. It's like there is something being birthed within us, this new self, this new consciousness, this new heart, this new desire. Protect that and know that it is protected and watched over, and don't let your heart be troubled. Try to laugh, try to be joyous, try to be grateful. Don't ignore your feelings, right? If you're sad, let yourself be sad, but don't let it consume you and let you lose hope or become despondent or despair or give up, right? Let the feelings pass. Let them come through, feel them, look into them, see where they're coming from and what they really mean and what they're trying to tell you. Don't bypass them, don't bury them, don't ignore them, but also, you can let them pass through without beating yourself up. It's okay to feel those feelings, just don't get stuck there and don't let it cause you to resign. And then peace be unto you as my Father hath sent me. So that Christ consciousness, that compassion, that mercy, that favor, that redemption is here for the taking this week. And it feels difficult, but even Jesus went to the desert and was tempted by the opponent. And Jesus took a beating and was crucified like a criminal. Took all the judgment on as a sacrifice. So even Jesus has gone through this as well. And so, yes, following in the footsteps of Christ. You know what we forget? Like, Jesus was Jewish. he was a good Jew. He was a rabbi. So he would have been doing teshuvah. With him, though, it was all about the Creator, so he didn't really have amends to make, but I'm sure that he was there alongside others doing teshuvah, supporting them in the act. But he was still making sacrifices. He was still, going through these rituals and honoring them. So yeah, happy Virgo new moon. I know this is a very long workshop, but this is almost like a master class and it's all like our Rosh Hashanah together. I'll be live streaming with the Kabbalah Center. You can live stream too. Go to Kabbalah.com, www.kabbalahcenter.com or Kabbalah. I think it's just Kabbalah.com. Their branding is white and red. There's like red tree of life graphics on everything. You can sign up for a free account and have access to all kinds of free materials. But you'll go to the events, live events tab, and you'll see Rosh Hashanah. You will want to click under the live broadcast from New York. That is where the actual event is taking place and being streamed from. So choose that one, featuring like Michael and Monica Berg. That's the one you're looking for. That's the Kabbalah Center's all of the rituals going on. I think it may probably be like a pay what you can. You can like pay like $25 or whatever to watch it, or $1 probably. But yeah, I would highly suggest it. You can tune in there for free or $1 or so, but it's definitely worth it because the consciousness of the Kabbalah Center, they're not just going through some ritualistic traditional motions. This group or community and all the people, all the students and the teachers at the center have been so devoted to deep change. I mean, these are things we work on all year, but particularly the last 6 weeks, there have been deep dive courses that the students have gone into to prepare themselves to be conscious during this whole thing, doing the scanning of the prayers, dancing and singing and doing the ritual feast, all of the things that we're doing, we have this collective consciousness together, which magnifies the power of the event and the transformative quality. It's something that I enjoy, even though it's tiring. It's basically 12 hours a day on and off. So tune in for what you'd like. Don't tune in, whatever. But if you're curious and you feel like you're interested, that's how you can find it. And that's what I'll be doing. And then the first night of Rosh Hashanah is the ritual feast, where you make the ritual foods and you eat those. So that's a whole nother thing to go into. If you guys are interested, you can look it up yourself. But yeah, otherwise, Shana Tova, I think, is the proper greeting for the new year, the spiritual new year. Shana Tova. Yeah, good luck out there, y'all. Happy new moon in Virgo. Hope your changes, I hope you shift onto a higher timeline.